You know what? After chapter 1, I am still confused what exactly is the heaven and the earth. To recap, the earth is water, and the heaven is a bubble in the water. Then it suddenly all inverts and the water becomes the bubble in the heavens. Then God populates the earth with various things that can't possibly live due to what, when and how they were all created. I will try to revisit this mentally challenged, millennia-old space magic ASAP to discuss the lowest possible evolutionary rejects, flat earthers. Moving on. The Book of Genesis 2, 1 through 6. 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. 2. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. 3. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Click like and subscribe to join me while I expose the claims of the Bible, and then together we can make it better. But why does an omnipotent being need to take a day off? Many will fudge the word rest to mean all sorts of things. I guess he doesn't need to rest. Perhaps he has just finished creation with everything he wanted, then just wants to kick back and admire his good work while he pats himself on the back, sharing a cold brew with his later apparent dissociative identity disorder. He has now created everything that will ever be needed, from an amoeba to zombie fungus to pigs to man and woman also. Interesting, that means God didn't want labradoodles and cockapoos. What about cows, or the domestic chicken, as these are man's creations, not God's? However, God did for some reason think that the lower nematode was needed in his little garden of delights. Pretty sick. Verse 4, 5 and 6 sets up shop for the next part of the story. The introduction of man. God is currently using an irrigation system to water all the world's plants, as rain hasn't been created yet. So, when is rain created? Does this require new magic after the weekend? And how will one man garden and cultivate a whole planet? No contradictions here. Wait a second. We already have men and women created from Genesis 1:27. So, is this a separate creation story about his favourite pet human? Seems to me this is two different stories blended together from different sources. One God doing all the heavy lifting from heaven, which is just the space above the ground, and the second God pottering about in his back garden. Back to that whole Saturday being our day off thing. Forget the Bible for a sec. Let's travel back in time further than a dusty family photo album. We find ourselves in Mesopotamia, where the Babylonians and the Sumerians were rocking a polytheistic party with a creation story wilder than a hangover after a toga bash. Just Google Enuma Elish, trust me. The Hebrews, wanting to get in on the cool religion scene, borrowed some ideas, like that whole number 7 thing, and their moon obsession. This mashup led to a wacky weekly cycle where the Sabbath bounced between Holy Day and Don't Spill Your Wine Day, depending on the moon phase. Then, bam! Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king with a name longer than a grocery list, rolls into Judah and shakes things up. The Hebrews, under Babylonian rule, are like, we gotta copy these guys. So, Saturday became a way to keep the peace, a day to mimic their God's rest, and, of course, squeeze in some worshipping. You know the usual, obedience boot camp disguised as a holy day. To quote a famous song, God tumbles out of bed and he stumbles to the kitchen, pours himself a cup of ambition, and yawns and stretches and tries to come to life. Move across the waters and the blood starts pumping. Out on the earth, the animals start jumping, with gods like him on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, one away to make the living. Barely getting by, it's all creating and no giving. They just use your powers and they never give you credit. It's enough to drive you crazy if you believe it. Better add a day off before the unions sue. New Genesis chapter 2, 1 through 6. 1. So things finally settled down around here on Earth and up in space, I guess. Everything was all set up, a real fixer-upper turned into a groovy oasis. 2. Billions of years of tinkering finally to today's specifications. Nature, in all its messy glory, took a well-deserved nap. No more volcanic eruptions or asteroid dodgeball for a while. 3. Planet forming. And the occasional extinction event isn't exactly a picnic, so this break for mankind was much needed. Time to relax and watch some cosmic dust settle, giving all the creatures a nice long weekend to settle from evolving before the whole survival of the fittest thing kicked in again. 4. Now, let's rewind a bit. Remember when this place was just a swirling mess? Yeah, it took some time for things to get, well, not exactly organised, but at least kind of recognisable. 5. Back then, there weren't any fancy palm trees or even a single weed. Everything was just waiting for a good soaking to get the party started. But hold on, there wasn't anyone around to turn on the sprinklers. 6. Luckily, Mother Nature is resourceful. We can be honest and say the water cycle was already in place due to weather systems being powered by the Coriolis effect. If you like this video, you may also like this.